10 years. That's how long I've been on this platform. And I'm still small as fuck. Not for real though, I can't believe that's how long it's been. That's crazy. I'm not even entirely sure when I started uploading exactly, because I think a lot of my shit's been archived on my alt channel, which, looking back, I kinda wish I hadn't done, but whatever. I didn't really know what to do for a 10-year anniversary video. I definitely probably couldn't crank out an animation worthy enough for it, so I figured I would just pay homage to what I used to do, which was speed paint, and add a voiceover talking about it. A slight disclaimer, I'll be generally mentioning how I've had to deal with like a lot of bullshit over these last 10 years and a pretty basic and vague mention of certain things, but this isn't to re-spark drama or anything because I'm over a lot of it now. I've moved on, but I figured I'd include some of it because no, the last 10 years have absolutely not been all sunshine and rainbows as little me had hoped it would. I initially made this channel to, well, watch YouTube. Actually, I think both this channel and the channel with my actual name on it were created the same day. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't just rename that channel. Maybe my little 13-year-old brain couldn't figure it out. Honestly, most of my older platforms probably turned 10 this year, but I just never really thought about it. The only reason that I thought to make anything for it was because Macho posted a community tab post about how their 10-year anniversary was this year, like literally a day before mine, and I was like, oh, I guess I should check that, and yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, I existed 10 years ago. I still exist today. Some people might see that as good, others not so much. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still quite a few people out there who hate me for stupid shit that I did in the past, which, again, I'll admit, it was stupid on my part. A lot of it really came down to ignorance and upbringing, being a stubborn child, and I only found out in the last couple of years that I could have autism. I'm not diagnosed. I don't know that I'll ever get diagnosed, mostly because I don't really trust the medical system around my place, so I don't really know how I'm going to get a diagnosis, but generally speaking, I don't see it helping me either. I see like a lot more cons than pros in regards to that, so I'm not going to speak over anybody that is diagnosed. I've done a lot of self-reflection and research into it to be pretty certain that I do have it, but I don't know, a diagnosis isn't like a prerogative right now. But that could have played a pretty big part as well in a lot of the shit that happened. And before anyone comes for my booty hole because they're dumb as fuck, no, I'm not saying that as an excuse. An excuse and an explanation are two completely different things. I'm exclusively just saying it as an explanation, or a potential explanation. I've never been that great at being social. Like, shit that I find funny may not be funny to other people, and that's okay. And I get that not everybody is going to agree with absolutely everything. Perhaps some even getting pissed, and I guess that's fine. I just wish, instead of automatically jumping the gun and thinking people are always intentionally being malicious, that people would instead give the benefit of the doubt. I've put a lot of it behind me, again, I suppose. I'm sure nowadays people probably think I'm cold or a dick, but the truth is I kind of had to build a thicker skin, and I can't be this soft, mushy person that bends and lets people control me, so that makes it look even more like I'm being malicious. I've had a lot of people step over me, and I refuse to let that happen anymore. So yeah, I saw Repsion's video about dealing with this sort of thing, and it really is sad how you kind of have to build a thicker skin to be on the internet, and it does also make you lose a little bit of the ability to be empathetic. Like, I'm not really to a point where, like, I'm not empathetic to the people that I love yet, but it's a scary thought to think that I could be, because I've always struggled in general to be empathetic. I've never fully been able to put myself into other people's shoes, and I've never really cared to put bluntly, I guess. Like, I can relate to stuff, sure, but I can never fully put myself in another's shoes, and depending on my mood, sometimes I'm in like this weird state of shutdown and overwhelm, I guess, to a point that my emotions are just completely shut off. I think a combination of not being able to share much with my parents and having friends leave at the drop of a hat, having the internet hound me, and needing to build up my walls kind of caused that. Nobody really taught me how to be genuinely empathetic. I was always just expected to be. And now I'm having to learn how to be empathetic to those that I care about while simultaneously holding my walls steady for the outside world. Because to care what the outside thinks can be the downfall of you and your channel, in my opinion, if we're talking about, general platforms. So you kind of just have to keep going. This video is sponsored by me. I'm the sponsor. I've never actually marketed my shit in a video, and I didn't want to make a whole separate video, so this is the perfect opportunity. I have things that, in return for your money and support, you can have said things. I will give you wares if you have coin type beat, I have a Patreon where, depending on tier, you can get some sick rewards, like seeing everything up to months early, seeing whips of stuff, or getting bases and stuff. Also, look, I made the tiers space themed now. Or, if you want something physical, I have merch that I've been building up over the years that you can buy. You can get stickers and prints from my Etsy store, or you can get shirts from my Teespring store. I don't have many shirt designs, but I have a lot of stickers and stuff, including warrior stuff that I will mention later in this video. There is something important about those though, so keep watching if you want to know. If you do consider getting something, thank you so much for your support. I can't even begin to show my gratitude and how much I appreciate it. It's crazy to think that people actually want to buy my stuff. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment. Now back to the video. I think a few years after making this channel was when I decided to try and pursue YouTube as a career. I saw other people doing it, so why couldn't I? I started out as your typical YouTube speed paint channel at first, before finally moving on to animation, but I had been animating a few years prior, I think on my DSi with Flipnote. I think I still have the Flipnotes I uploaded on the original Hatena. If I can figure out how to pull them from the DSi again, I'll put them in here. You can still find the ones I uploaded to Pseudo-Memo though. My username is Star, I think. Just Star, because that's my DSi nickname, I'm pretty sure. I think I actually started the animation part of my channel with animation memes, maybe a couple of flip notes or practice animations, and my first full computer animation was a meme. I'm not entirely sure, but then I quickly moved on to map projects, mostly consisting of warriors. I think this was kind of the point where I started to peak, and then I kind of fell off a year or so later. I can't really remember to do more animation memes. I kind of missed the years of being in maps though. It was always so cool seeing my work among a bunch of others that I looked up to, but Warriors was also one of the first communities to start ostracizing me and showing me how toxic it could really be. So I don't really enjoy making content for it now, as much as I miss my own battle kitties. I was even supposed to be a part of Warrior Cats Animated as a rough animator, but the moment I let it be known, the community did what it does and I was removed without any chance of defending myself, and no real explanation of what I had done so wrong. They were extremely vague about it, which is usually what comes of drama. It never clicks for me, what's wrong, because I genuinely can't see it unless it's explained in a way that I can understand, or proof of something is put in front of my face. I need information to be easily digestible, right? Unless my logic is completely sound and it's actually just people being idiots. That kind of goes back to my lack of empathy. I'm not super emotionally driven most of the time. I'm more logically driven, but people can't grasp that either, and then they think their emotional screaming is going to make me see anything. Yeah, sure, I see something. I see a whiny bitch-ass baby coping and seething because I said mint chip ice cream doesn't taste like toothpaste, and whoever thinks so, how even are they similar? They're different mints. Cilantro tastes like perfume to me, but bruh, just say your palate is so small that you can't tell the difference between spearmint, wintergreen, and whatever the third one is. There was always spearmint, wintergreen, and then a third one that was blue. I can't remember the name though. It was, I don't know, but still. By the way, no, this isn't about mint chip ice cream or mint in general. This is just an example, just putting that out there. Anyway, back to Warriors. I made a post on Instagram a while back talking about how I only have a limited amount of prints available for Warriors and that I would no longer be selling them once they sold out. And this is still true. I don't see myself ever loving Warriors the way I used to. I've dabbled in the idea of returning to my old Warrior story, but it definitely have to be severely disconnected from Warriors. Despite it being the community that lifted me up to what little fame I have now, I kinda wish it wasn't, because crawling out of the Warriors community has been hard. It's so vast and large that sometimes it felt like my only option in order to be successful, but in recent years I've come to accept that even if things I want to draw and create flop, I still enjoyed making it, and that's all that really matters. If it eventually makes me successful, that's fine as well, but I'd rather draw the things I want to draw than draw for a community that doesn't want me, you know? Like, even after I change for what I think is the better. In fact, I've been put off participating in any fandoms now, even again, after changing myself to be a lot more receptive and accepting, especially to myself and my own personal stuff, and finding out things about me that I had been repressing and denying. People learn and people grow, and communities of any kind should realize that. It doesn't even matter really what someone's age is. Like, I'm 23 now and I'm still learning, but admittedly, it's only because my friends now have the patience to teach me. I'm so late to learning things because nobody in my life took the time to really teach me why something I thought was wrong or taught me to understand a new perspective. They'd always just like scream at me, or they would abandon me entirely. And I'm honestly so grateful to my friends, because I genuinely think that if they weren't so patient and understanding and accepting, I would have lost every bit of hope for myself. Like, to put it simply, I really do not think I would be here if I hadn't happened upon them. Especially if the shit that's happened to me this year in my personal life had happened and they weren't here for me. Like, I don't talk about it that much, but my personal life is kind of dark, to say the least. That's all I'm going to say about it, I think, until maybe in the future I'll become more comfortable to talk more in depth about it. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about it here. But people don't really understand that. People will preach up and down that you should be kind, but the moment someone disagrees or is genuinely just ignorant, they'll tell you to educate yourself. They'll scream at you. It's somehow the end of the world, and for what? Someone you looked up to is a person with their own thoughts and feelings. Like, why should those be canceled? Especially if they're genuinely not hurting anyone. Hell, why should people who do grow out of shit be canceled for things they did as a teenager as well? Like, it's so problematic and icky to hold shit people did when they were teenagers, minors especially, over their heads and expect accountability. Like, you realize you're not entitled to that, right? Like, you're not. I don't know why that's so crazy to say. Like, common sense would tell you that's likely not how they think anymore, and common sense would also tell you that you're not really important enough to a content creator on an individual or personal level to receive that, and I'll never understand why people think that they are. Like, that's another thing that I've come to hate in the last 10 years, is the weird parasocial behavior that people come in with. Like, I and many other content creators are not your friend. You can become our friend, sure, but that will take work just like any other friendship. But outside of those rare cases, it's incredibly weird to expect content creators to care about individual feelings, right? Especially if they generally don't know you exist. Like, I'm sure it's disappointing to find out that they don't exactly line up to your standards, but you have to realize that content creators are also people. They feel, they think, and they are their own person. To expect everyone to be the same as you is really, really weird, and something you need to work on. I don't agree with everything the people that I watch say, but I'm not gonna cope and seethe and try to cancel them over it because I don't matter to them. I know that I don't matter to them. Hell, I don't even agree with all of my friends on everything, but we have a mutual respect for each other enough to just talk about stuff. We'll go in circles, like just sharing our experience and knowledge, and we learn so much from each other that it's actually so beautiful how it works. Like, I love them so much. I hope they know that, and I hope they know how grateful I am for them. I think if more people had that on either side of the spectrum, we'd finally be able to coexist and be happy. But maybe that's too crazy to say. Like, in fact, a lot of this video is probably controversial to some degree, but oh well, that's been my experience. I'm not delving into what all people have said or say about me. It doesn't really matter now. It's all in the past, and whatever people get mad at me for now, it doesn't matter either, because they don't matter to me. I mean, on a personal level, like a really personal level, none of my following matters. Now, before people start getting offended and whatever, put down your pitchforks, hear me out. This is mostly a result from being here for so long. I used to be so caught up in the numbers and shit that I lost sight of why I was even here in the first place. And the reality is, I'm just here to create, to show my creations to people if they want to see it. I know I said before before that I started trying to do YouTube as a career, but that was more kind of on the back burner. I'd like to be able to do that someday. I'm still not monetized yet because I don't have enough yearly watch hours to make anything from YouTube. I did for some time have the ability way back then, but YouTube updated and I was no longer eligible and haven't made enough content since to become eligible. Now I'm trying to take it a bit more seriously, but my main focus is just to create. I guess in some way I also wanted to build a community of my own, but in recent years that's unfortunately been shot down. I can't really bring myself to look at the comments of anything anymore. I post and I forget about it because it's just easier on me to do that. If I let the online world consume me to a point of basically no return, I'll tear myself up. Like, no hate to the people, obviously no hate to the people that leave really nice comments on my videos. I appreciate those immensely. It's just better on my conscience, right, for me to just not look at all. But besides that, I think I'm just going to try to return to the mindset of officially just creating what I want to create and doing my own thing without regard of what people say. I know that I'm better now than I was years ago, so much better, thanks to my friends that are helping me grow. I know that I succeed if I put my mind to it, and I know that I have more power than anybody who tries to tear me down for whatever reason. After all, you can't really be canceled if you don't acknowledge the cancellation. Like, you can't. Nobody has any power over me anymore. I don't hold any hard feelings for those that did try to tear me down years ago. I'm sure they were just going through something that made them break. It's no excuse really to act the way that some of them did, but I genuinely hope that they're doing better now. So yeah, here's to maybe another 10 years. Unless the rapture happens, which seems to be getting kind of close if you know what I mean, but hey, I've been ready to go since 2016, 2017. Dang, that was extremely long-winded, but I'm glad I scripted it. I hope people don't take much of this as like starting drama again or whatever, or reigniting some really old drama or whatever that was in the past and should stay in the past. I never could find much on myself, honestly, so I've just let it alone. This was mostly just explaining my experience with being on the internet and some of my peeves with it, I guess. If I could go back, I would slap younger me for being an idiot on main, honestly, but meh, I'm moving forward now. If anyone out there isn't moving on, might want to seek therapy, I guess. Like I said, I always thought it was weird for people to idolize someone so much that they end up having like a seizure when the creator doesn't fit into a box. We're all humans. What happened to treating people like humans? Does that get thrown out unless it's like a criminal or some shit? I'm joking. What was that boy? Ew. But yeah, I hope this gave a little insight into me, I suppose. I know people are probably gonna have nitpicks, but you know what? I'm trying not to care about that. I'm trying not to care about being misunderstood, because sometimes people will misunderstand you intentionally, even if you go to great lengths to try and be understood. If they hate you and if they want to misunderstand you, at some point they will. They will somehow do the mental gymnastics to misinterpret whatever you're saying. Again, I probably won't really be looking at the comments anymore, and it's not because I hate y'all, especially the ones that leave good comments. Thank you in advance. But just, I don't know, the comment section isn't fun anymore. I mean, usually it's Instagram Reels that the comments are really not funny. Like, what's up with that? What's up with Reels being so toxic now? Like, especially now. Oh, the two cats I was drawing in the background are my characters Jingle and Blaze. I don't use them much, but I figured they fit in pretty well with the December theme, maybe, since they kind of remind me of Snow Miser and Heat Miser. I was going to draw a different pic of them, but at the time of recording this, shit went down at my house, and I haven't been feeling the best. This has been another huge impact on me as a person. Just my family and my home life, again, is just not really great. God forbid I be a person, right? But yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe check out my other content if you want. I don't know how likely it'll be that I'll make more commentary videos, but this seemed like the best option for a 10-year anniversary video. Stay safe, drink liquid, bye.